doing, sir?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Doing all right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
You too.
Yeah.
Hey friends, welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we've made it to the Canadian Rockies. We're here exploring Fernie, British Columbia. Come along. The beautiful town of Fernie sits just 35 miles north of the Montana border in the East Kootenay region of southeastern British Columbia, Canada. It lies on the western approaches to the Crowsnest Pass, Canada's southernmost transportation corridor through the Rocky Mountains. Founded in 1898, at an elevation of approximately 3,300 feet in the glacially carved Elk River Valley, Fernie is the only city in Canada that is fully encircled by the Rocky Mountains. To the north of the city lies Mount Fernie, Mount Clower, the Three Sisters, and Mount Proctor. To the northeast is Mount Hosmer. To the east is Fernie Ridge. To the southeast is Morrissey Ridge, and to the southwest are the various peaks of the Lizard Range. Topping out at 9,147 feet, the Three Sisters loom high above the town, are visible from most anywhere, and are particularly photogenic. After a disastrous fire leveled much of the downtown core in 1904, an ordinance was passed requiring all buildings in the area to be built of fireproof materials like brick and stone. The new buildings were short-lived, however, as a second, larger inferno swept through the city on August 1, 1908. Whipped up by sudden winds, a nearby forest fire burned its way into a lumber yard on the edge of Fernie and sparked a Dresden-style firestorm that melted brick and mortar and essentially erased the entire city in an afternoon. Thankfully, there were few casualties, and for a second time, a stately brick downtown core rose from the ashes. Today, these historic buildings, most of which still stand, are a treasured and distinctive feature of the community. Fernie's population swells during the winter months thanks to the famed slopes of Fernie RV Resort, one of Canada's largest ski areas on the southern edge of town. Retired Canadian World Cup and Olympic skier Emily Bryden and professional snowboarder Craig Kelly both hail from Fernie. So too do a significant number of NHL hockey players, and Alex Lifeson, the guitarist for the rock band Rush. Until recently, however, it wasn't what's on the surrounding mountains that captured Fernie residents' attention. It was what's in them. The vast Crowsnest coalfield lies just to the east of the city, and Fernie owes its origins to 19th century prospector William Fernie, who established the coal industry that continues to exist to this day. The Canadian Pacific Railway arrived in the valley in 1898, while mine operations continued until 1960 in a small satellite community 6 miles away. Fernie developed into an administrative and commercial center for the burgeoning industry. Summer is much quieter in Fernie than winter and draws visitors to a vast hiking and mountain biking trail network. Golf at Fernie Country Club and fly fishing on the Elk River are also significant attractions to the area. My e-bike has been an absolute gift for exploring the town, for an extensive network of trails and bike paths leads to just about anywhere I'd like to go, right from our campground. When planning our visit to Fernie, we found few good opportunities for boondocking. Realizing that we'd arrived during the Memorial Day holiday weekend, but forgetting that Memorial Day isn't a holiday in Canada, we booked a week stay at Fernie RV Resort, one of the few RV camping options in town. Here you'll find 172 full hookup campsites and 5 heated yurts available year-round with both 50 amp and 30 amp electrical service. Pads are gravel and include picnic tables and fire rings, while some campground roads are paved. The campground sits in a convenient location along the banks of the Elk River and barely on the edge of the town of Fernie proper, with a modern supermarket, Canadian Tire, Tim Hortons, and more services just a short walk away. Campground facilities include modern and clean bathrooms and showers, a bike wash station, and more. We're paying $52 Canadian per night, which at today's exchange rate equates to $37.59 US. good night's sleep, we'll explore some of the Elk River Valley's coal mining history and the site of Canada's deadliest landslide. Plus go hiking in the mountains, kayaking, and more, following a quick message from our valued video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. Improve your sleep while camping with a new RV mattress from our video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. They offer 4 different mattress constructions in 21 different sizes, depending on preference and price point. Everything from standard queen to all of those funky, odd RV sizes. Brooklyn Bedding manufactures all of its mattresses right at their factory in Arizona. And RVmattress.com ships them right to your door for free, all rolled up and compressed in a vacuum seal. Just cut the wrap to unroll the mattress onto your bed, then cut the vacuum seal. For our mattress, Brooklyn Bedding starts with a layer of high-density foam for a supported base. Just above the base, an 8-inch core of over 1,000 individually encased coils provides the essential support. Immediately above the coils is a 1-inch layer of memory foam and 2-inch layer of hyper-elastic TitanFlex foam. Finally, at the very top is a 1.5-inch layer of antimicrobial CopperFlex foam with TitanCool, which is designed to maintain an ideal sleep body temperature of 88 degrees. Every RV mattress from Brooklyn Bedding comes with a limited lifetime warranty and a 120-night sleep trial. Visit RVmattress.com/grandadventure and use code GRANDADVENTURE to get a full 30% off your entire order. The remains of the Hosmer coal mine lie a few miles north of Fernie. Unlike the surrounding coal mines, the Hosmer mine was a subsidiary of the Canadian Pacific Railway, and the adjacent community of Hosmer began as a railroad company town. Coal production started in 1908, and by 1910, over 1,200 people lived in what seemed to be a community with a bright future. However, only 4 years later, Canadian Pacific unexpectedly announced that the Hosmer mine would cease production immediately. Suddenly, the town's residents had no job and no source of electricity. Today, the Hosmer powerhouse and other ruins can be explored. These were some of the Hosmer mine's 240 beehive coke ovens. Mining the Crowsnest coalfield still takes place today. Teck Resources operates 4 open-pit mines high above the community of Sparwood, shipping out on the Canadian Pacific Railway through Fernie to the Pacific Coast, where the coal is loaded onto freighters at Roberts Bank Superport in Delta to ship to industrial markets in Asia. The town displays a Terex Titan coal truck, which it claims is the largest truck in the world, adjacent to the Sparwood Visitor Center. In addition to being an important transportation corridor, Crowsnest Pass also marks the border between British Columbia and Alberta. On the Alberta side stood the mining community of Frank at the base of Turtle Mountain, which by 1903 was home to 1,000 people, with 24 businesses and services, a 2-story brick school, and a regional post office. Tragedy struck, however, at 4:10 a.m. on April 29, 1903, when Turtle Mountain fell apart. With no warning, around 110 million tons of limestone, an almost unimaginable amount, slid down the mountainside and back up the side of the opposing hills in only around 100 seconds. The railway line, the coal mine, and the eastern edge of the town of Frank were all obliterated. It remains the deadliest landslide in Canadian history, killing 70 to 90 of the town's residents, most of whom remain buried in the rubble. The sound was heard from up to 120 miles away. Multiple factors led to the Frank slide. Turtle Mountain's formation left it in a constant state of instability. Coal mining operations may have weakened the mountain's internal structure, as did a wet winter and cold snap on the night of the disaster. We're hiking today after work to Fairy Creek Falls, one of the most popular hikes in Fernie. It's a relatively easy 5 kilometers, or barely over 3 miles round trip, starting right from the Fernie Visitor Center. The Canadian Rockies are definitely bear country, both black bears and grizzlies. So bear spray and a bear belt are both highly recommended. Fairy Creek is raging right now with snowmelt from Mount Proctor and the Three Sisters. Fairy Creek Falls is a truly worthy hiking destination. We'll be right back with kayaking on spectacular Tie Lake, following a quick ad break to pay the bills. So stay tuned. The Fernie area has not only beautiful mountains and beautiful rivers, but also beautiful lakes too. About a 45-minute drive southwest of town is gorgeous Tie Lake. There's a regional park here with a broad sandy beach for a summertime dip and a dozen primitive campsites too. But we're going to use this opportunity to get our kayak out onto the water for the first time this season and enjoy a relaxing Saturday paddling Tie Lake. So we hope that you've enjoyed visiting the Fernie, British Columbia area with us. Now, coming up next week, we're going to be visiting the first of 4 consecutive Canadian national parks for the next 4 weeks. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. Understand it's extremely important to us that if you like this episode from Fernie, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section where we always love to hear from you each and every week. So until next week, from Waterton Lakes National Park, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.